I just interviewed 2 Eastern Stars in the free Mason Lodge behind me. It was a very interesting conversation. Might not be what you expect, but I forgot to record at the beginning, so part of the audio gets cut off, but it's definitely still worth listening to. So let's just dive right into the conversation.
Chairs, 4 chairs to get there, and you lead the chapter. Basically, that's what it's all about. Can you go farther? Yes, like Sister Teresa has been a grand officer. No,
For the Grand Chapter, Florida.
see,
Is that like one of the highest levels?
it's in the state.
In the state
In
of
the state,
Florida.
yeah. Every year there's a new worthy grand matron of the state.
And she is the highest.
She is the highest. And so she picks who she would like. There are some offices are elected, but star points are appointed by her. She picks out who she wants, and that's how Teresa.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So are there benefits for being a high-level Eastern Star in
There are
Florida?
a lot of benefits. And by the way, I'm Teresa, and this is Sharon. So, for instance, I had the grand matron, come to me more than 25 years ago and suggest I start Eastern Star here in Deltona. So I instituted and constituted Deltona chapter here, and with help of Sharon and many others. And so we instituted and constituted this chapter. That means that we're the ones that put this all together. So talking to us today, you're talking to the top people right here on this.
Oh, really?
We're here forever.
So
Yes.
so in Florida or in the area of Florida?
In Florida, yes.
Really?
And
Okay.
so we're Deltona chapter number 326. That means that we're 326 chapter in the state of Florida. And then connected to us are Daytona number 1, New Smyrna number 3, D-Land
I
16.
didn't realize there were so many in
And
Florida.
there is so many in the state of Florida.
These are just chapters, or yeah, in our district.
And so on this, when we join Eastern Star, you have to believe in the existence of the Supreme Being, or you cannot join Eastern Star.
And I would say that's the Father, God. What do you guys say? What is the Eastern Star?
That's what I think.
That's what we think.
I know.
We know. They don't think we absolutely know.
Yeah.
And then when we're talking in here and we're doing our part in here, or we're doing initiation, then everything that we say, and we learn because we memorize it by heart, is actually in the Bible.
Yeah.
So if you were to pick up an Eastern Star Bible, then it would have all the Gospels, all in the Bible also. So
Are there other things, like extra things related to Eastern Stars in that particular Bible?
I don't know. I can't give you an answer. I don't know.
I do. It's just totally amazing. And then also the Masons also have the same belief in the existence of the Supreme Being, and their beliefs are also in their Bible. And
Oh, so they have a different. It's not.
they
the
have
same.
a different
Oh,
Bible.
right.
Yes.
Okay.
But then we're all the same. Every day when we come here, we pray. At our
But
meetings, we
you're
pray.
same.
Yes, yeah.
So
We all worship the same God.
I've heard on. So these are some of the tough
Yeah.
questions I was going to
Yeah.
ask, because these are either rumors or things that people don't know much about. But I've heard that the Supreme Being is like Michael, or another, another similar character from the Bible, a similar angel, or light being that you would call from the Bible.
The Supreme Being is God.
Is God the
Is
Father?
God, the Father.
Is that what the G is for? And
And actually,
What is a G4?
that's what the Masons have. That yes.
And we open every meeting before it starts, open our Bible with a prayer.
okay.
And it's to God. It doesn't say to some other spirit. It's, Jesus or God help us.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So, why Eastern Star over, I don't know, like Baptist or Methodist, or why did you choose to kind of to place, where you worship in a temple like this versus some other congregation or belief
Right.
system, denomination?
That's a very good question. We all have our own churches that we go to,
right.
and just whatever church. you
Oh,
go
so you also go to a church?
Oh, I
Yes,
go to
absolutely.
the Catholic
I thought this was your church.
No, church. No,
You go to the Catholic.
I go to the Catholic church.
Instead of
Yeah, and people come, not everybody lives right here right now. We got people that come from Orlando. She comes all the way from Palm Coast. A lot of them New Smyrna. I mean, so
Daytona everywhere.
yeah, they
Yeah.
come, and it's a wonderful organization, and it makes me sad when people think it's a cult.
I am curious because there are, some things that I've seen in the writings of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Albert Pike.
Yeah, I know that.
Uh,
Well, she was founder of Eastern Star.
was he really?
He was one of them, like Pike.
Oh,
And Rob Morris was the founder of Eastern Star.
But tell me about
Many,
Pike.
many years.
have you ever read his writings, like Albert
Absolutely.
Pike's? Because he mentioned something about a supreme light being that seems to be slightly different
No.
from what the Bible kind of would, as far as being the highest, person being the Father. Albert Pike seemed to have a little bit different view. It from what I've seen in his writings, I could be wrong, but because I'm not as well versed in it
Right.
as you guys are.
I am
But,
not in some of that either, trust me.
And I don't know too much about Albert Pike.
No,
Oh,
read
I bought
him, but the name was just so
It's
familiar.
very familiar, yes. And mostly with us, it's Rob Morris. Well, he's the founder of Eastern Star.
oh, okay.
And we celebrate.
Oh, I'm surprised. I thought it was a female that founded Eastern Star.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
And we celebrate his birthday every year in August.
Are you guys familiar that the Mormon Church was founded by a Freemason? Did you guys know that?
No, I did not know that, but I do know we have many Freemasons that were presidents and things like that. And as a matter of fact, on the wall in the Masonic Lodge, there are pictures of some of the presidents and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yes. I do know that there's a lot of benefits to joining Eastern Star, and also we donate a lot of money. We don't donate money to cancer and heart and things like that. And this year, our worthy grand matron, her special project is Moffitt Cancer Center.
Oh, okay.
And so then what we do is we do different things to raise money to donate to Moffitt Cancer Center so that our veterans and everyone can stay there with their families. That's what we did. Yeah, we do a lot of different.
This is what it allows for. So I always feel bad when I hear people talk. I said, we'll work our butt off and like doing it. I mean, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't do it. And it's so rewarding, because you know where it's going. We've helped students.
We love it.
We've helped students going to college. We help.
Right.
Look at like if you've been Mason for higher years, they got the home
Oh, wow.
that you could go and stay at for nothing.
Well, can I ask you? You mentioned too that there are also benefits to being in, because I'm sure that there has to be some kind of benefit to being in another organization outside of your church, because there's benefits in being in a church because you have like that family unit and things like that.
Right.
But
We have
what
a
sort of
large family here.
yeah?
Yes.
What sort of benefits though would you have for being an Eastern Star? Or I'm guessing you said the Freemasons also meet here.
Yeah, this is their building.
Oh, so you guys are kind of guests here in their building.
We are guests in their building, yes.
Her husband or a close relative had to be a Mason before the women could join Eastern Star.
Is that still the same today?
It's changed now, yeah.
They're changing it now that you do not. You just need to have a Mason to recommend you
And an Eastern Star.
and an Eastern Star, and that's going to help.
It's going to be nice.
Because there's a lot of, right around here, there's a lot of women that would have liked to join, but they couldn't find anything who belonged to me.
So that's changing soon, you said?
Yeah, it's in effect now.
Oh, it is in fact
Yeah.
now. Oh.
And the reason why it had to change is because, say, for instance, our great-great-grandfather was a Mason, and then the lodge that he was in either consolidated, burnt down, whatever, way back in the 1800s or whatever, and they cannot show proof that he was a Mason, although the Masonic emblem would be on his gravestone if they don't have paperwork to follow that. So that way, that gives those people an opportunity to join and honor their great-great-grandfathers.
But when this decision was made, it wasn't made by the Grand Chapter. It was made by General Grand Chapter, which controls the whole world. In different countries, they're the ones, if there's any big changes, they're the ones that make it.
Where's that located?
Well, it could be in any state.
Wherever they elect the new we're the grand matron.
Yeah, and that takes quite a few years for them to get to the top, okay? And we've personally known some that have not there, which is really neat. Yeah.
And everything is just completely amazing.
Oh,
Oh no, you're fine. I think it'll still pick up. It's a pretty good microphone. So
no,
um
they make the final. Yeah.
Final decision.
why do the first of all, is this called a temple or is this like a church or how is it
building.
labeled? Just a building?
It's called the Masonic Lodge. Must visit the Masonic Lodge. That's why people think it's a hotel a couple times. No, they'll come here for the hotel.
And like I'm a 35-year member, and when you get to be a 50-year member, then you don't have to pay dues anymore, which they're not that much anyway, but you don't have to pay dues.
Oh wow.
And if you're, say for instance, you're in your home and your spouse dies or whatever, we have a REST, REST, which is Resident Eastern Star Today, which allows them to stay in their home. And then our grand chapter will, we take up funds for that. That's another donation. And then they'll give them so much money a month to stay in their home.
Oh wow.
And then
That's one of the benefits right there.
that's one of the benefits.
I was wondering.
Yeah, because other than that, personally, other than the fellowship, and to me, there's nothing more better than that.
So another, I guess, kind of difficult question
What?
is I've also heard people say, so I guess first, why refer to God as a supreme being over like just God or the Father, or it seems to be a little bit different, I guess, a variation of what you would hear in church. And I have heard, and I'm just telling you what I've heard. Correct me. And I know I already know that you're going to tell me I'm wrong, but I just kind of want to hear your response. Is the supreme being either being Michael, the archangel, or Lucifer, because they call him the light. In the Bible, they mention him something about being the morning star, things like that. I'm just curious to hear what your response to that would
No,
be.
I'm just Supreme Being is God.
Okay.
For us, it's God.
Yeah,
That's even in
that's
even in
in
our
our
prayers, even
in church and here.
even our prayers that we say is God, and we always have the Our Father. That's said it all the time. So no, it's God. We don't look to anybody else as being. I know that, but that is.
I know you guys have to go soon, so do
Yeah.
you mind if I off the topic of masonry, kind of my thing,
Wow.
when I go and talk to people?
Yeah.
So I believe in keeping the Sabbath and feast days. I don't think they were ever really done away with. I think that we've kind of created human tradition, which if you listen to the words of Jesus in Mark, he calls the Pharisees, he says, "You hypocrites, you put the traditions of men above the commandments of God." So he's saying that they're not keeping the commandments, that they're breaking God's law, and they're creating their own tradition. And I would constitute Christmas and Easter as a human tradition that has been created, and the Feasts of Tabernacles, Passover, unleavened bread, the weekly Sabbath. In fact, you were saying you were a Catholic.
Yep.
There's a book called the Convert's Catechism of Catholic Doctrine,
Oh, really?
and it talks about the reasons for certain traditions. And on one of the pages, page 49, it talks about how the Catholic Church changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday.
Right.
And it's a dialogue. It's in a dialogue format. This is a well-recognized book. Like they have like the what do you call them? Catholic priests. They have those on their
Priests and
bookshelf.
deacons.
Yeah, and the deacons. Yeah,
Deacons.
they will have that on their bookshelf. It's a very well-known
Yeah.
book to them. But it's a dialogue that says, why did we change the Sabbath day? And they say, well, Saturday's a Sabbath, but we changed the Sabbath because we have the authority to do so. And they say that, Jesus kind of bestowed the power to the church, and the church made that decision. But my argument against that would be that Jesus kept the commandments of God perfectly because he had to be sinless. Deuteronomy 4:2 says that we're not supposed to add to, or take from the commandments of God. So Jesus would never have done that because he would have broken the commandments of God by doing that.
You listen to the 10 Commandments. I mean, if you just followed them, you would,
Yeah, and commandment number 4 is the Sabbath day, is to honor God and rest on the seventh day.
That's one of the commandments.
Yep, but it's a human tradition to change, to change God's law and create your own. Historically, what I've read is the reason they did that is because a lot of the people, the pagan nations, the people of that time were worshiping on Sunday already. So if they could get the Christians to worship on the same day, they could have more converts.
That's probably true.
So
It's really like, and here's a short example. We've always met at night here. But now for the last 2 years, we meet in the daytime, and we're getting more people only because we've switched to daytime.
oh yeah,
So there's kind of an example of when you make a change,
that's true.
how it can, it's really helped.
That's a good example.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, hearing that though, and I mean, because there's a ton of like Matthew 5:17. It says, "I did not come to do away with the law or the prophets. I came to fulfill the law, which means to bring it to its fullness. And if anyone is caught teaching the least of the commandments from the law or the prophets, is changed or done away with, will be considered least in the kingdom." And then he gives another qualifier saying that if your righteousness does not exceed that of the scribes or Pharisees, you will by no means enter into the kingdom. And he's constantly saying, many will knock at the door, say, "I cast out demons in your name, the name of Jesus." But he tells them, "Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness." Those who are breaking the law, changing the law, regarding human tradition above the commandments of God. So what do you think about that? Because I know that, the Catholic Church
They've
and
made so many changes.
a lot of
Years. Oh God, yeah. You're talking about Sabbath.
no, would you
Where I came
Sabbath
from,
feast?
where I came from up here, you could go to church on Saturday. It was considered your thing for Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just recently moved.
Okay.
Just recently moved back to Michigan. It ain't that way there. A little bit different with the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they don't have many priests. I don't know. But I grew up a Catholic, and I grew up that Sunday. You went to church, but you also. It's not just going to church. There's a lot of people that go to church. That doesn't mean anything. You don't live a Christian life. That's the bottom line. You can go sit in church every Sunday or Saturday, whatever you want. And then when you leave that church and you don't do any good for anybody else, what's the point?
Yeah.
What is the point? You don't, that's my theory. I mean, I do go to church on Sunday, but I also help people because I love people. But, it's the truth. If you're just going to, so sometimes people that don't go to church are probably just as well as the ones that are out doing good. I don't know.
I mean, that's
That could be. Oh, no.
It sounds like you guys have to go soon now.
Yeah, I know. It's been a pleasure, John.
It was a pleasure. If I could just say one last thing, just maybe think about what I was saying about the commandments and
I believe that. And it's somehow on my Facebook. I don't know how I got all these prayers, and half the ones you're talking about are on my Facebook. I'm always praying to God for this and praying for. And I wake up in the morning, the first half hour. Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm praying. Okay.
I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk with me.
People keep thinking we're called. All the days we come up here and worked our butt off. Okay, and you don't get anything, and you say, "Oh, this is false." No, really.
I think I left my keys on
This is the cult that had to go buy this food to bring to a funeral of another Eastern. I remember up this is just part of it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So